I'm Talia Ricci. Tonight, Toronto's mayor is about to get new powers designed to help speed up housing development.
Our government needs to support efficient local decision-making to speed up development timelines.
Details on the proposed legislation, which will allow the mayor to veto council decisions that could slow down new housing construction. Plus,
look, we've always had a public health care system in the province of Ontario, and we will continue to. Are we looking at options? Absolutely.
Ontario's health minister isn't ruling out privatization in healthcare, as the government looks at ways to deal with a major staff shortage in hospitals. And we're live tonight at the National Bank Open, where Serena Williams played what's likely to be one of her final competitive matches in Toronto. The Ford government is moving ahead with its plan to give more power to the mayors of Toronto and Ottawa, specifically veto power over their own council when it comes to housing and transit projects. Ali Chiasson explains.
Ontarians are counting on someone who can take the responsibility to get things done.
Today we heard more about the province's motivation behind its proposed legislation that would give two big city mayors more power over their own council.
Over 1/3 of the growth over the next decade will come in the cities of Toronto and Ottawa. Our government needs to support efficient local decision-making to speed up development timelines.
Basically, we want you to cut through red tape and fast-track things like housing and transit projects.
Well, at least the way I think the premier is thinking about it is that there's going to be a disentanglement of all the bureaucracy and all of the rigmarole that goes into making a council decision.
Toronto municipal lawyer John Mascarin can't picture it as quite the quick fix the province is hoping for.
The council itself can come back depending on how it's structured, and I think they were proposing a 2/3 vote, so a supermajority vote. And if council is given that authority, what if they then come back and say, no, we're going to veto that? Well, how does that speed up anything? In fact, that seems to create a bigger quagmire.
Ottawa's mayor condemns the idea as being anti-democratic and doesn't see the municipal process as broken, so why fix it?
Well, it's certainly nothing the City of Ottawa or myself asked for.
Meanwhile, Toronto Mayor John Tory says he'll review the legislation now that it's been submitted and that he's always supportive of making sure City Hall is, quote, working more efficiently and effectively for Toronto. City Councillor Gord Perks, on the other hand,
I just don't see it providing any real benefit to Torontonians.
He questions the province's motivation.
The real worry here is that your local voice, your local representative, will have less and less impact on your quality of life. Increasingly, the city will be run just out of the mayor's office.
The legislation would also give the mayors the responsibility for preparing and tabling their city's budget instead of council, appoint their city manager, give them the power to hire and fire department heads, excluding statutory appointments such as an auditor general, police chief, or fire chief. It also gives them the power to veto bylaw decisions. If passed, the legislation would take effect in the beginning of the next council term, after the municipal election in November. Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
When it comes to fixing the province's hospital staffing crisis, the health minister isn't ruling out privatization. It has advocates sounding the alarm over the future of Ontario's healthcare. Jessica Ng reports.
So just to be clear, there's not more privatization coming.
I'm saying that all options are on the table.
When grilled by reporters, Health Minister Sylvia Jones said the government is looking at many different solutions to fix the hospital staffing crisis.
We've always had a public health care system in the province of Ontario, and we will continue to. Are we looking at options? Absolutely.
They're just waiting for the right time to do this, and they feel that the right time is really close.
Frangelina of the NDP says she would expect changes toward for-profit care to happen quickly.
I can see some of those new surgical suites will be publicly funded, but privately owned and privately delivered so that rich people can get a whole lot richer out of the back of sick people needing surgery.
In a statement to CBC Toronto, the OMA says those care centres should exist only under a not-for-profit model. Otherwise, they would be in contravention of the Canada Health Act.
the Ford government left billions of dollars of healthcare spending on the table. And that to me does not sound like a government that is serious about supporting and bolstering our healthcare system.
Shamji says the province-wide hospital staffing crisis is tied to the government's lack of action on solutions, like repealing the wage capping Bill 124 and failing to ensure adequate mental health support for workers.
At every step of the way, they've eroded our publicly funded healthcare system.
The Registered Nurses Association of Ontario says even the government's efforts to accelerate the accreditation of internationally trained nurses falls short.
If the government needs to help the College of Nurses of Ontario with funding to bring more staff for them to do that processing, eggs need to go in that basket because privatization will not solve anything.
Others in the industry agree.
The hardest thing for those of us working in the system has been this moral injury. Day after day, the moral failure of knowing that we are not getting the resources that people need to be able to stay alive.
Jessica Ng, CBC News, Toronto.
A prominent realtor from Brampton was viciously attacked outside his home, and it was caught on video. A warning to viewers, the video you're about to see is disturbing. It happened around 8:15 a.m. last Thursday near Hurontario and Mayfield Road. You can see the victim getting into the driver's seat of his car and slamming the door when a suspect wielding what looks like an axe approaches. The suspect hits the driver's window, breaking the glass. As the victim opens the door, two other suspects appear. The three suspects then attack the victim from the driver's seat and again when he runs behind the car. The attack doesn't stop until a neighbor comes to intervene. We spoke with the victim's family tonight through a neighbor who translated.
His injuries are extremely serious, but he's going to survive. And it will be weeks before he comes home. According to him, we are requesting the authorities, police, government to take legal action and catch those culprits as soon as possible.
Peel police say they are investigating but aren't issuing a statement at the moment. They do say they're aware of the video circulating but don't currently have it in their possession. The province's ombudsman is threatening to launch another investigation into police de-escalation training. His annual report says progress has been painfully slow of a new use of force model for police. Lorenda Redekop has more.
It's been 9 years since a Toronto police officer fired repeatedly on Sammy Yatim inside a streetcar in mental distress, holding a knife. 6 years since the Ombudsman came out with 22 recommendations following that tragedy.
If we have to do another investigation, we will. So it's something that we're contemplating. There has been some progress, but it's so slow. And what I find a little bit frustrating is that, what I said in 2016 is the time for study and consultation is over.
But he says governments continued to consult. First, it was the Liberals, then the PCs. The former Solicitor General says there has been progress.
So there was a lot of work and training, particularly with new recruits and ongoing training with police services. I'm sure that work will continue.
The Solicitor General's office says all officers do de-escalation and use of force training with annual firearms training. But the Ombudsman says some forces are further ahead and wants to see mandatory province-wide standards for de-escalation.
The government has moved at a glacial pace. This government has had 4 years to act. There are regulations that are just sitting unsigned.
The Solicitor General's office says it will work with the Ombudsman to address any concerns. He's already further investigating 2 other areas highlighted in his annual report today. One is the province's handling of nursing homes in the pandemic, looking at the ministries of long-term care and health.
We've reviewed millions of documents. The disclosure on this one was massive, and the team has worked tremendously hard. They were the first people to start coming back into the office because there was so much to deal with.
He's also looking into issues with the Landlord and Tenant Board.
Not fair!
That board resulted in almost 1,000 complaints to his office over the past year from both sides.
We're hearing some really horrible tales of hardship. In these cases, some people facing eviction that could result in homelessness, and on the landlord's side, some of them are facing financial ruin because they're lacking revenue.
Those reports are expected later this year. Lorenda Redekop, CBC News, Toronto.
Dahlia Ashry joins us now with a first look at the forecast. And what a perfect summer day today. Lots of sunshine, but still a bit of relief from that humidity we had.
That's right, Talia. We got a little bit of a breeze. We had that beautiful sunshine, and we were able to turn down our ACs just a bit. Now, there is a chance of showers that we could be expecting over the next few days, but for the most part, it will be dry conditions. The daytime highs in Toronto today, 20 degrees. Winds are 20, cool spots in the area, Kitchener and Barrie. And what to expect this evening? Will there be any rain or not? Well, as we take a look, it's mostly going to be foggy conditions overnight. There is a chance of rain, but for the most part, it's going to be clear skies throughout the rest of the week. As we can see here, there's no clouds in sight, which is always lovely. That means sunshine is in the way, and especially as we head off into the weekend, still clear skies on Friday and into the evening, clear skies as well. Now, tonight, there is a 30% chance of rain in Toronto, 17 degrees, Hamilton as well, and Mississauga. So for the most part, the Golden Horseshoe, we are expecting 30% chance of rain. Tonight, temperatures will cool down to 17 degrees, but it will be windy, which is always nice. Cool summer night. And as we head into tomorrow, 26 degrees. It'll feel like 29 and a lovely breeze, winds gusting at about 40 kilometers an hour. Talia?
Thanks, Dahlia. Well, tennis star Serena Williams has announced that she's winding down her career. September's U.S. Open will be her final tournament, but tonight she played in front of a sold-out crowd at Toronto's CBC Stadium. Greg Ross is live at that event for us. Greg, what can you tell us about what could be her last match in Canada?
Well, this, I can tell you, was going to definitely be her last match in Canada, and the reason for that is because she lost, unfortunately. That's not what the crowd here was hoping for. She had a lot of people who came specifically just to see the greatest tennis player of all time, Serena Williams, 23 Grand Slam titles, but she wasn't able to get it done at 40 years old tonight here at CBC Stadium, losing in straight sets, 6-2, 6-4, but again, the crowd was into it. She got a standing ovation when she came out onto the court. She got another standing ovation when they announced her name. And of course, there were lots of people cheering throughout the match, yelling her name, hoping that they could will her to a victory. They weren't able to help her with that. But again, it was just an incredible night because, of course, she announced her retirement just a day ago. This is going to be her final match, her final professional match here in Canada. Now, she, of course, loves coming to Toronto. She talked about that all week, how much she loves playing here. She's a three-time winner with this Canadian championship. She also is a five-time finalist with the Canadian championship. And afterwards, she was emotional and she reminisced on her time playing here in Canada.
It was a lot of emotions. Obviously, I love playing here. I've always loved playing here. And yeah, it was, it's just been so memorable, you know. Like I said in my article, I'm terrible at goodbyes, but goodbye, Toronto.
It's such an emotional moment. You know, thousands and thousands of people purchased tickets just to come and watch that match tonight and again get one last glimpse of the greatest of all time.
Such a legend, Greg. And it wasn't just Williams' match that drew attention. Canadian star Bianca Andreescu played tonight as well.
Yeah, Bianca Andreescu right now playing in her second round match is very close to winning this. She's up right now 5-3 in the third set and hoping to advance to the quarterfinals of this tournament. Andreescu, who has had some struggles this past year. I mean, she took some time away from tennis. She came back. She hasn't been playing up to the way she did back in 2019 when she won this tournament and she won the U.S. Open, but looking very good in her first round match here and now looking very good in her second round match. And she now has the advantage right now to close out this match against Elise Cornet. And you're going to hear this crowd go wild in about a minute if she can pull this out. But here she is now, Andreescu serving with the advantage and a chance to close out this match. Fans here obviously cheering for her to win this one. The Canadian trying to come back here for the first time since 2019, since winning this tournament in 2019, the same year she went on to win the U.S. Open. She beat Serena Williams here on center court, and then she beat Serena Williams on center court again at the U.S. Open in New York. And I can tell you right now, Bianca trying to close this out. And as I said, if she can close it out, there's about to be a huge cheer. We'll see if she can do it. We are just seconds away from what could be an amazing moment here with this massive rally, and there it is. I just wanted to wait, Talia, to see if we could get it. And again, Bianca Andreescu is going to be heading to the quarterfinals after that victory over Elise Cornet. And so there you have it. There was history on the court earlier with Serena Williams, and now Bianca Andreescu looking to make history again as she works her way towards another final here at the National Bank Open.
Greg, thanks so much for that. That was definitely a moment worth waiting for. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. With recent interest rate hikes, for some, property ownership may now seem even harder to achieve. Two companies say they can help people get into the market, but one expert cautions the approach. Kirthana Sasi-Theron explains.
You show us our new house?
Lauren Schreiber-Sazaki and her family recently moved into her new home, a home she's been waiting to purchase for years. The mom of two was 3 months out from leaving Toronto.
It would have meant starting over.
Despite a good-paying job for her and her husband and family help, she couldn't get enough for the down payment. But thanks to the help of a Toronto-based company, she got her dream home.
We have about a 50-50 split in our down payment, which means that within 10 years, we either have to buy them out or sell the house. It's just a different way of investing. Like, people are still investing in the housing industry, but in a way that also is putting, families into homes.
That company is Arbro.
We provide a contribution towards a down payment, and in exchange, we have a beneficial interest in the home.
The co-ownership lasts 10 years. Arbro shares in the total appreciation of the value of the home.
We don't necessarily compare ourselves as an alternative to a bank, but more so an alternative to the bank of mom and dad.
Coburn acknowledges it's not a traditional means to get a house.
So it's not about putting your entire life savings into a down payment anymore. You can get into the home with less of a financial risk, and Arbro's there as a co-owner. We give people the opportunity to have less mortgage or to have a less leveraged property.
But for some, home ownership isn't the end goal. They just want a way to enter the real estate market, whether it's to build a portfolio or grow a passive income.
This is one of our first two buildings. This is 356 Queen Street.
Kevin Huynh is the Chief Investment Officer at Willow, a stock market for real estate. They buy property and split the equity into thousands of units, which people can buy and earn dividends on.
There's not a lot of people who can afford to buy this building on their own. Having the ability to have it in smaller pieces does make it accessible for someone looking to make their journey into real estate investing.
While the ideas are innovative, one expert says it's important to be cautious of the risks.
Buyers will have to work out for themselves whether they work for them, given that sellers are going to need to have due diligence about the houses that they're owning. The seller's perspective matters too, and if the sellers are facing risks, they're going to offer the buyers contracts that are less attractive, and it'll be harder for the product to take off.
For Lauren, while she knows it's not the most conventional way of owning a home, she says for her family, the unconventional way worked best.
It's a place where I don't have to worry about being rent evicted. It's a place where I can invest in my home.
Kirthana Sasi-Theron, CBC News, Toronto.
Dalia's back now with our extended forecast, and it sounds like we could see some rain, but mostly dry days the rest of the week, Dalia.
That's right, Talia. I mean, we could all use a little bit of rain. I mean, so can the plants, especially after some dry conditions. Mainly sunny for the past few days. We're not experiencing the high heat that we were over the weekend. With that heat warning, that's been lifted. Today was a little humid, but then you had that nice breeze kicking in, and we will be expecting more of that breeze, but we'll get into that in a second. First, the daytime highs in Toronto, 20 degrees, Windsor 20. The cool spots in the area, Kitchener 17, same thing in Barrie and Ottawa. And tonight, what to expect? Mostly clear skies. A little bit of fog will be coming through. There's about 30% chance of rain. But as you can see here, the fog slowly dissipates. And as we head into Thursday afternoon and evening, and even into the weekend on Friday, mostly clear skies. So that means sunshine. And that will be around as we kick off that weekend as well. And clear evening as well on Friday evening. Now, what to expect tonight? Well, there is winds that will be gusting extremely high. So 28 degrees in Toronto. And that will be going on and increasing throughout tomorrow morning, 31 kilometers an hour easternly, and that will keep increasing as well as we head into the afternoon. It will start to go down just a little bit Thursday afternoon around 3 o'clock, And again, it will pick up Thursday evening, 43 kilometers an hour. So a nice breezy night Thursday night. Friday as well, 35 kilometers an hour as you head to work. By 1 o'clock, it will start to calm down and it will be mostly a warm day on Friday afternoon. Now for tonight, like I said, there is a chance that it will be raining, 30% chance of rain, 17 degrees in Toronto, Hamilton 15, same thing in Mississauga. And what to expect over the next few days? Well, the temperature will stay pretty warm and it will cool down as we head into the rest of the week. In the evenings, 15 degrees mostly, and there is a chance of rain as you hit off your work week on Monday. So keep your umbrellas around, but for the most part, have your sunglasses. Talia?
Thanks, Talia. They've dismantled a drug and firearms network that was importing weapons into Canada through Walpole First Nation on the Ontario-Michigan border.
These 27 handguns, 17 prohibited magazines, over 300 rounds of ammunition, approximately 9 kilograms of cocaine, 1.5 kilograms of fentanyl, over 20,000 Xanax pills, a quantity of heroin, and 41.5 pounds of cannabis.
The 10-month investigation was dubbed Project Monarch. Investigators believe all 27 guns were seized and smuggled through the First Nation Ontario's border with Port Huron, Michigan. Late last month, police executed a number of search warrants in Brampton, Toronto, and London, Ontario. 22 people were arrested. They're facing hundreds of charges, including firearms and drug trafficking offenses. Stay with us. We'll be right back. The Toronto International Film Festival announced its lineup today. Among the films making their debut, This Place. It's a Toronto-set queer love story between an Iranian woman and a Tamil woman. We spoke with the director about having her first ever movie debut at the festival.
It's incredible. You know, this film is actually about this place, so to have it premiere in this place is like a dream come true. We've been working on this film for about 9 years now, and it's just so heartwarming, and honestly, I've been crying all week to just have us share this film at home with our communities here and for the world to see it here.
Other films in the roster include one by Inuk throat singer Tanya Tagaq and a biopic about the life of the legendary Cree artist Buffy Sainte-Marie. The festival is returning to full in-person programming this year with 11 days of red carpets and screenings. And that's our show for you tonight. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Good night.